Arsenal nil, West Ham United 1 in what, honestly, for me anyway, I think that was the worst performance of this entire season. I was speaking with some of my friends, and one of them used the word pathetic. And I think genuinely that would be the perfect way to summarize this performance. Yeah, if we look at the whole team, not a single good performance. And that, I think, comes down to the fact that our build-up play from start to finish was so slow and boring to watch. It was very reminiscent of the first half against Leicester. Against a team that sits back deep, you will not be able to break down their lines with slow build-up play. It's just not possible. It's too predictable. The team that's sitting deep are more than happy for the ball just to be moved around ahead of them, which is exactly what we've done. And when we look at some of the players today that usually you'd look for inspiration in that area, the likes of Martin Odegaard, just dreadful today, you know. He has that magic that us Arsenal fans love, that he can create something out of nothing. But today, I don't think he created a single good opportunity for anyone out there. And when you are in those attacking positions and you're picking a ball up on the edge of the box, you have to move the ball quickly, you know, make runs, overlaps, all of this. It was just too safe, too many passes backwards, and ultimately we just couldn't break down the back line. And yeah, I mean, of course, we don't have a striker at the moment, but I think even if we had Mbappe or Haaland today, we wouldn't have scored because we just could not create a single chance. And that's been the issue with us, I think, this season a lot. When you look back to our previous years, when we would, you know, I'm talking last couple of seasons specifically, when we'd, you know, move the ball quickly, we'd dismantle teams, you know, we'd put 3-4 past them. We just didn't see any of that today. And I think in general this season, we've had so many of those performances where we just haven't created enough chances. And I put that down to the fact that when we just have the ball against these low block teams, we are so poor at creating opportunities because of how slowly we move the ball. And in moments like that, sure, you might need a bit of inspiration or a bit of magic from a player to create something, but we can't expect for that to happen every single game. And yeah, sometimes that might bail you out, but more often than not, it won't. And yeah, ultimately, West Ham had it easy today. We didn't create anywhere near enough, like I say. And credit to West Ham because they did defend great and they came with that game plan of sitting deep, playing on the counter. That is ultimately how they got their goal. And if you look at the balance of the play, you'd probably say they had the better chances there. Even at the end when it was Kudus was pretty much through on goal. He should have done better with that chance. Could have been easily 2-0. And yeah, it wasn't good enough. I think, yeah, looking at the stats, we had 20 shots, 2 of which were on target. One was the Calafiori half volley in the first half, and the second was Trossard in the second half. To get 2 shots on target at home against a team that has been poor defensively, yes, they came and they played well today, but over the course of the season, they've not been good enough defensively. And of course, now they've got Graham Potter in, so it's a little bit of change of structure and whatnot, but still, it's just poor. Poor is the word to use. Yeah, like I say, West Ham even, we had the same amount of shots on target as West Ham, 2. And that, quite simply, will not be good enough to win you games. Like I say, you can get away with it a couple of times over the course of the season, which we have, like against Leicester last week. But when you continually play this way, where it's just too predictable, not quick enough, then it's not exciting to watch. B, you're not causing any problems to the defenders. They're happy to sit deep, and yeah, that cost us today. The Lewis Skelly red card, if we talk on that quickly, deservedly sent off in my opinion. I'm honestly surprised that the ref didn't go for the red card straight away, because it was for sure a denial of a goal scoring opportunity. I think if Raya wasn't so high up, not saying that he shouldn't have been, because ultimately we had the ball in a comfortable position, so the goalkeeper's always going to be that high up. But if he wasn't, then maybe you could make the case. But because of where he was, could have easily shot, so we can't have any complaints with that. And yeah, it was just poor. It was just poor, and it's so disappointing because Liverpool dropping points midweek, it gave us the hope as fans, and it definitely would have given the players hope, the manager hope, the whole club the hope that, you know what, we can actually go after this title despite all the challenges that we've had this season. Yet we failed to capitalise, and it's with Arsenal, it's the hope that kills you, right? So many times this has happened to us, where it's not going our way, and then all of a sudden something happens. It's like, oh, you know what, we might be right back in it, and then you play like that. And I saw so many fans getting way too ahead of themselves, saying we could, Liverpool can drop points against City. The gap's going to be 5 points. West Ham is, despite how, like I say, they've not been great this season, West Ham is never an easy game. Of course, away from home this season, we completely picked them apart. But like I say, that wasn't under Graham Potter. And we have struggled, against West Ham sides in the past. I mean, I believe last season we drew against them at home or something. And we also struggle against Graham Potter teams. It seems like he's always, he's got the right game plan against us. But like I say, it's just so disappointing. And another thing that I want to mention, the substitutions today, taking Declan Rice off, I think that was the wrong decision. Thomas Partey, I don't think he got involved in the game until maybe like the 70th minute when he started to play some of those passes in. But we know one of our biggest threats this season has been our set pieces. And Declan Rice, of course, he is our best corner taker. The way how he crosses the ball in, it gives you something else to play for, especially when you're down to 10 men. It's, you need to look for other alternatives. But yeah, it's just disappointing. And we can't say that the season's done yet. However, now it's just looking like it's out of reach. Especially if Liverpool get a point, or even just a point against City tomorrow, then it's fair to say that the title is done, because I think Liverpool have to lose 3 games and for us to win every single game for the rest of the season. And seeing as Liverpool have lost once this season, what is the probability of them doing that? It just doesn't seem very likely. And it just puts us to a point where what is the end goal of this season? Of course, we've got the Champions League. However, after a performance like that, does that fill you with any hope? Even any Premier League game now for the rest of the season, it doesn't fill you with any hope whatsoever. Because, full respect to West Ham, full credit to them, these are games where we should just be winning. No questions asked. We saw Liverpool against Wolves last weekend, they just scraped past them, winning 2-1. But ultimately, they got the win. They got the 3 points, and in a title race, as much as you do want to play good football, winning is all that matters. And A, of course, we didn't win, but B, we were just poor. Like I say, we just have to, we have to move the ball quicker. And I hate to point fingers, but I think Odegaard is at the centre of that, because so many times he gets the ball, he's in a bit of space, he can drive, play a quick pass, but he just takes too many touches. And even when Eri today was poor, when he got the ball, most likely thanks to the way how West Ham set up, it seemed like he was always doubled up on. But if you've got the ball and there's 2 players on you, that means that there's another 3 players somewhere. You've got to play the ball quickly, make them move around. All of a sudden, maybe you can get it back, and it's a one-on-one situation where we know he can be so good. However, there was none of that today. Our best chance of the game probably that Ben White chance where you just put it wide, and that came in the 90th minute or something, or definitely deep into added time, where even that came from a set piece of ball into the box where we flicked it down. Yeah, it just doesn't fill you with any hope with the way how we play, because now other teams will look at that and be like, right, if West Ham can do it, if they can sit back deep, absorb the pressure and play on the counter-attack, every single team will now be looking to play the same way. Forest is our next game. They're not a team that like to keep the ball too much either. They like to play on the counter-attack. If they let us keep the ball for most of the game, are we going to create any good chances? I don't think so. Even games such as we'll have Everton further down in the season, where they're most likely going to do the same thing. And maybe then that is the hope that in the Champions League, first of all, if we are to get past PSV, that is probably why we play better against the bigger teams, because the bigger teams, they don't just sit back and absorb the pressure. They also want to play on the front foot, and we are a little bit better with that because we can play out from the back quicker and can create chances that way. But even then, when we do that, so many times like we'll have a chance to break, on the counter attack, and then we just slow it down and we let the other team get their shape. You look at what Liverpool do. They are so good. They are probably the best counter attacking team in the world, because when you're on a counter attack, that is when the defense of the other team is at the most vulnerable point. They're not set up. They've got players out of position and there's space in behind. That's the main thing. And so when we counter attack, that's exactly what we got to try and do. We've got to try play it in behind and stuff. But I don't know. It just didn't. It was just a poor performance. Yeah, like I say, credit to West Ham because they got their game plan spot on. But yeah, it's disappointing. That's pretty much all there is to it. Like I say, we've got Forest next away. Just another very, very tough game. And yeah, whether that will even mean anything, because if Liverpool win tomorrow, which you wouldn't put it past them the way how City have been playing this season, then by that point, the title realistically will be out of reach. So yeah, whether now the focus is to fully concentrate on the Champions League, I don't know. But it just seems like another season now where ultimately we're most likely not going to win anything. And yeah, whether that's a mentality problem with the players, whether that's the approach that we take into games as well with the manager, I don't know. Questions need to be asked, because that genuinely was the worst performance of the entire season. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of that. And yeah, I suppose focus on the Liverpool game tomorrow. And for us, we need to, recuperate and, never say never, because there are still 12 games to go. But it's safe to say that with performances like that, then we are far off it. And yeah, don't want to say it, but it's almost as if we've just handed Liverpool the title with that performance. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.